Hey everyone, so today I want to address something that many people in the vegan community don't like to advertise, and that is that it is very easy to gain weight and get fat on a vegan diet. Now, when I first decided to become vegan, I did so for ethical reasons. I did it because I did not like eating animals. I did not like subjecting them to the tortures that they go through in the process of giving us their meat and their byproducts. And before I went vegan, I kept researching what it would be like, what I need to do. I do like to lift weights, so I wanted to make sure that, how do I get sufficient protein and the vitamins and all the other things that I need. And in just about all of the YouTube videos and articles that I read, it talked about how people are so fit and so lean on vegan diets. In fact, now this is the part I love, they also talked about how so many people struggle to get enough calories on a vegan diet. Okay, so I want to know, who are these people who cannot get enough calories on a vegan diet? Who is wasting away to nothing and struggling to get all those calories and to maintain their weight? Because I have absolutely no problem with it. Now, protein is something that I have to be very conscious of, especially on the days that I work out. And it is actually the protein that has probably gotten me in trouble, if I'm really speaking honestly. In trying to maintain my protein needs to build muscle, I was adding quite a bit of protein powder, and I kept adding mock meats, which were great transition foods. But mock meats, although they are very high in protein, they're also very processed and high in saturated fats and oils and lots of carbs added to them, sometimes added sugars. And even when I tried to eat healthy in my own smoothies, I said, you know what? There isn't a whole lot of protein in this meal, so I'm going to add some protein powder to it. So I'd add protein powder to my smoothies, I'd add it to my oatmeal, I'd add it to just about any dessert that I could fit it in and not taste it. One thing I learned very quickly about being on a plant-based diet is that your protein is attached to carbs. Carbs just come with all the protein that you eat, unless you're getting something like a protein isolate powder, or like pea protein or pumpkin protein, or something that where it's separated from the plant. But unfortunately, from some of the research I've been doing, when you do that, you're not getting the protein in its natural form. So what happens is, when your body goes to process it, it isn't slowed down by the rest of the plant that the protein would normally be part of. And as a result, apparently it can cause blood sugar spikes, which of course can lead to more weight gain. Now, I do confess that there are plenty of people who can eat a very healthy vegan diet and not gain weight. I just was not one of them because I did not do it properly. So the point of this video is I'm going to go over what I did as my mistakes and why they were mistakes. And hopefully maybe I can prevent somebody else from going through this as well, because I am not the thin vegan I wish I could be. I'm supposed to be buff, but also lean. There's muscle in here. Really, it's in there. It's just covered. It's covered in fat. Ugh. I don't mind having a little plush, but lately I've had a little too much jiggle on my wiggle, if you know what I mean. Most people who are on vegan diets or who go vegan, if they actually eat, here's the thing. They tell you that a whole foods plant-based diet is extremely healthy when well planned. But here is the problem. Most people, like myself, or at least many people like myself, don't hear or fully understand the whole foods part and end up eating a lot of processed foods, thinking that it's still healthier because it comes from plants, when in actuality, you still have the same undesirable effects that meat may be having on your body because it is a ultra high processed food in many cases. Some people argue that even plant-based processed foods are better than meat-based processed foods, and honestly, I'm not a dietitian and I'm not a nutritional scientist, so we'll just say the jury is out on that one. But I do recognize that in my case, I was eating quite a bit of high processed foods, and it definitely did not help my cause. Now, one of the reasons why this came to my attention is when I went to a dietitian recently. I was having some issues where I felt like I may have early diabetes or something like that because I was having dizzy spells after eating during certain times of the day. And the dietitian went over my current diet with me. I used Chronometer, so I shared my information with her. This is actually a Zoom meeting, which I'm kind of glad for because I feel like I would have been judged a bit more if I was in person with her. In any case, she told me that I had quite a few my diet was very high in carbs and it was very high in protein, but that combination in the types of protein I was eating, those refined, isolated types of protein, was probably spiking my blood sugar, and adding that to the carbs was leading to weight gain. Now, I was gaining quite a bit of muscle. I still am gaining quite a bit of muscle. However, burning off the fat while eating that way is very difficult. And of course, she went through the motions. She asked me, would you consider having more eggs in your diet? I'm like, no. Then she asked me, how about some Greek yogurt here and there? I said, no. How about some collagen? Collagen, it's left over from the animals. I'm not quite sure I believe that. But she said it was a byproduct. I said, no. And she literally looked at the screen and just went, so I looked down at her pad and she's like, okay. Checked off something and then pretty much said, well, let's work with what you are willing to do. So basically, the goal is that I include more whole plant-based foods. So what I decided to do is, the question is, what do I do now, right? Well, I currently don't have a whole lot of time to cook. School just started up. I am teaching middle school. Okay, I love the kids. They are so precious and darling. However, they suck the energy right out of you. As fun as they can be to be around, the age difference is killing me. They have nonstop energy. At the time of day when most people are getting tired and they wind down, they wind up and they just finish me off. Now, I've been getting better. I'm adapting. I was teaching online. If you've been following my channel, you know that I was an online teacher all last year. So this has definitely been a transitioning period. And I am transitioning nicely. But the point is, I'm not quite there yet where I have enough energy to make all of my meals whole food, plant-based, homemade. And unfortunately, there are very few restaurants that do that. And even when they do, it is always low protein, high carb, pretty much the same situation that's not going to benefit me in losing the weight. Now, I'm not a shill for Thistle, but after looking at the pre-made meal plans out there, because that seems to be the best option for me right now, after looking at those, Thistle actually has the most nutritious and best protein and low glycemic index planning, it seems. So I'm going to be thistling it for a few weeks until I have more time to prepare my meals. Now, for any one of you out there who are in the same predicament I am and you're trying to lower your body fat, going whole foods plant-based is the best plan. I do recognize that I'm single and I'm at the height salary of my career, so I do have the advantage and privilege of being able to order my meals in. However, if you can't do that, then just try to include as many whole foods you possibly can. Now, when we're talking about whole foods, we are talking about foods that are minimally processed, if at all. Foods that are truly in their whole form. So, for example, even tofu is technically a processed food. I mean, it's minimally processed compared to, it's not really bad, but a better option, for example, would be edamame, just having the whole bean, the whole soybean that the tofu comes from. Now, tofu isn't exactly that bad of a processed food because most of the soy plant is still somewhat in there. Soy curls, that would actually be a better example of a good processed whole food because, well, not whole food, but a good processed food because it's mostly part of the original plant. So it's all in there. So one part of my plan is to make sure I'm actually focusing on things that are truly whole foods. And I really have to keep reminding myself of that definition. It may seem simple, but when you're hungry and you just want to grab what's available, you have to kind of remind yourself, like, wait a second, this isn't exactly a whole food. I can do better. Things like mock meats, those vegan junk foods, vegan pizzas, anything from the freezer section that you get at your local grocery store, those are not whole foods, unless it's like frozen berries or something like that, or frozen vegetables. Now, you may be wondering, what was the damage that I did when I first went vegan? Well, first of all, when I first went vegan, I felt so great. I wasn't noticing the weight gain. I was actually working out very heavily at that time, which I was really loading in those mock meats and those isolated proteins. So I assumed that any weight it was gaining was mostly muscle, and a lot of it was, to be fair. But unfortunately, a lot of it also wasn't. And when I realized I was gaining weight, I didn't blame it on the vegan diet. I just figured, oh, you know what? maybe I am not getting enough protein. So I kept adding even more isolated protein powder to the mix. And I did bulk up even more. However, I also bulked up with areas with fat that I did not want. Now, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy some places that landed. Like my badunkadunk has never looked so good. However, I don't like where it's landing in other places. Like what's this? What's under here? Who gets this? What is this even for? How is building body fat under your arms at all evolutionary or naturally biologically advantageous? Can somebody please tell me what this is for? Oh wait, I think I can think of one thing. But being that I don't plan on being a flying squirrel for Halloween, I'm going on a plan. In fact, I am challenging myself to seriously drop my body weight. I haven't decided on a percentage yet. I have started by ordering Thistle. I did start that. I increased my weightlifting routine and my exercise goals in general. I am reducing my couch time. And I just plan on nipping this problem in the bud. Because honestly, I do feel very healthy. I absolutely positively do feel healthy. I just don't feel healthy when I'm wearing my clothes because things don't fit the way I want them to. But as far as exercise and energy and all that stuff goes, except at the end of the school day, I am prime. I feel better now in many ways than I did when I was in my 20s. I mean, things like acid reflux, things like headaches that I used to get, sour stomach, bubble gut, none of those things happen to me anymore since I've been vegan. Well, unless, of course, I've been drinking or if I eat like a lot of sugary foods while I'm drinking. Other than that, no digestive problems whatsoever except for the occasional gas. Oh, and I do bloat. I did find out I do bloat when I have wheat. Apparently, gluten is actually a thing. I never actually considered it because I thought it was just a big hoax, but turns out I'm gluten sensitive. Who knew? Since I made the transition to vegan, I've gained about 15 pounds. I would say that about maybe 5 of that is muscle and 10 of that is fat. I'm just guesstimating. I did go to 24 Hour Fitness to do one of those body fat percentage calculators. I'm not revealing any of that information now. I may share it once I actually make some progress and I have some before and well, rather the after photos, then I'll share the before information. That way I don't just look like a bloated slob trying to get his life together. And then, if it doesn't work out, then boy, I'll really feel like a loser. If anyone out there, if any of my friends out there want to do a fitness challenge with me where we can set up some goals and I don't know, they have all these awesome programs and these apps and these YouTubers send out these programs that are free. Let me know. I would love to be part of a challenge because I could definitely use the accountability and things are better and more fun when you do it with a friend. So I guess that means there will be a part 2 to this video, or maybe I'll just retitle it for a my fitness challenge, whatever it is going to be. I haven't decided yet. It's literally, I'm spitballing here as I'm talking on camera. So stay tuned for that. And please, if you have not subscribed, please remember that it is free. All it is a click of the subscribe button below. And remember, subscribing not only helps motivate me, wait, that's not how it goes. How do I say it? And remember, subscribing not only supports me, but encourages me to make more fun videos for you in the future. That's still not right. Let's try it again. And remember, hitting that subscribe button not only encourages me to make more videos for you. Well, no, that's not right. Oh, I say this a million times. Why can't I get it right today? Maybe I need to get into persona. And remember, subscribing not only encourages me to make more end scene. And remember, subscribing not only supports me, but encourages me to make more fun videos for you in the future. So I hope all of you got something out of this if you are either already vegan or you're considering to be vegan so you can avoid the mistakes that I have made. And I will hopefully see you in my next video. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.